Now, to counteract this crazy world that the collective human consciousness, or rather unconsciousness, has created, that you live in, to counteract that requires an extraordinary degree of presence. It's relatively easy to stay present here, relatively easy, because this is, it's a retreat. You have retreated from the world into a relatively protected setting, although here too the little challenges may come. But in the world, things get difficult, especially the world that we inhabit now. A lot of the civilization, the elements that make up our civilization, are the manifestation of a relatively unconscious collective consciousness. But even at the time of Jesus, the world was also challenging, of course, in other ways, although maybe fewer challenges. There might have been some big challenges, but not this continuous bombardment of stuff happening. Never, not a moment of just being. And so, to quote Jesus again, he said, "In the world you will have tribulation." In the world you will have tribulation, because that's what the world does. That's my addition. In the world you will have tribulation, but look, I have overcome the world. In the world you will always have tribulation, but he says, I have overcome the world. Not defeated. Overcome means transcended. Dependency on the world. So that was the awakening. But Jesus also says, surprisingly, many Christians cannot explain this, all the things that I do and greater things you will also do. So Jesus is a precursor, just like the Buddha is a precursor. He shows what is possible to realize your connectedness with Source, conscious connectedness with Source. So out in the world, of course, I don't know what your life situation is like, whether you live in a relatively sane environment, work environment, family environment, or whether you live in a fairly insane work environment or even home environment. If it's challenging, then you need to be extremely present in challenging environments. When people around you are unconscious, reactive, ego possessed, mind identified, where this conflicts continuously arising, fighting, conflicts, hopefully not physical violence. Those are extreme forms of unconsciousness. So your presence, if you can be present in challenging environments, that's is actually helpful. It's helpful. A comfortable setting you can stay present, but you will be like a flower that grows up in a greenhouse, protected from the elements, or a plant or a tree that grows fairly quickly because it's not being challenged by the elements. But the moment you put this plant out into the open, it will find it difficult to survive because during its growth, it has not been challenged, it has not developed the resilience against the elements, it has not developed enough energy to withstand the onslaught of wind and rain and cold and snow and whatever comes. So you can go to a wellness resort in Hawaii or Bali in the most beautiful setting where you don't have to do anything except meditate, eat the healthiest of foods, get body treatments every day, swim in the ocean or in a pool, and all kinds of other treatments. You're being pampered, looked after. Looks like a wonderful opportunity for being present. And perhaps it is. Perhaps you are present and says, this is it. I have arrived. And at some point you have to leave there. Your money is running out. It costs $1,000 a day. Okay, now go home. But in your view, you're enlightened now because you're so... And then you arrive home. And at the first challenge, you lose it again. This was described to me by a monk that I spoke to quite a few times, many, many, many years ago. Buddhist monk, American, but he went to Thailand to become a Buddhist monk in a forest monastery. And when he was a young monk, his superior allowed him to go up the mountain. They had little meditation huts, and all he had to do was meditate all day long. Once a day, somebody would bring him food, so he had enough to eat. He meditated for months or so in this mountain hut and reached sublime states of presence. And he was convinced that that was it. It was totally... And then at some point, he had to come down from the mountain. And he came to the monastery, and somebody said to him, "Did you notice your visa has expired? You have to go to Bangkok to apply for another visa." So he traveled to Bangkok, and there he was at the visa office, lining up for an hour. And when he finally reached the counter, the person said, "No, this is the wrong lineup, don't go here." He went to another lineup, and gradually he could feel dysfunctional states arising again in him. And after 2.5 or 3 hours of waiting at the visa office, finally he was led into an office, and he was so angry at that point, he banged on the desk of the employee. "If I have been here for 3.5 hours and you still have not seen..." And at that point, he suddenly became conscious of what was happening to him, lost it completely. So the presence was not... the presence was superficial, that he had achieved. It was there. There was presence, but he did not embody the presence yet. He lost it again. So the world is here to challenge you so that you can embody the presence through the challenges. When you fall ill, it's a great challenge. You lose something important, it's a great challenge. It's a very helpful challenge. people around you are difficult, that's a challenge.